So I just watched the first two episodes of the new-ish show Everybody Still Hates Chris. This show was created by Sanjay Shah. Before I talk about this new animated show, I'll go ahead and talk about the original Everybody Hates Chris. I really like it. I think it's really good. Like, it's not some amazing show or anything, but I think it's a lot of fun. I like the characters, all the actors are great, and I just think the writing is funny. Like, it was a pretty dang good interpretation of the sitcom, as well as being a semi-autobiographical show about Chris Rock. And I was pretty interested in this show, like hearing that they're bringing it back, hearing that some of the cast members from the original are coming back. The creator of this show has he's worked on good stuff in the past. He worked on King of the Hill, South Park. Even looking at some of the writers, they've worked on Parks and Recreation, Superstore, Last Man on Earth. Even one or two of the writers of this show have even worked on the original Everybody Hates Chris. So I at least had hope that it could, even if not as good as the original, it could still be good. Honestly, this was a disappointment for me because this just felt like they took that show and they turned it into a generic adult animated sitcom. Like, just everything about it felt like no different from the type of adult animated show you'd see on Comedy Central nowadays. Like, I liked the cast members from the original show. They were definitely the highlights of the show for me. Like, not just Terry Crews and Tachina Arnold as the parents, but also a lot of side characters from the original came back. They could get some laughs every now and again. And I do think that the new voice actors did a fine job. Like, I understand why they didn't get the original kids back, because they want to still have them sound young. So I get that they recast them. And I thought Tim Johnson Jr., Terrence Little Gardenhigh, and Ozioma Agkaga, I thought they did good jobs. Good for them. But just then, the biggest downgrade, you just look at the way the characters are different. Like, Julius and Rochelle just feel like a generic adult animated series married couple with kids. And as a result, they both just feel like generic adult animated series parents. Like, Julius feels like the typical adult animated series dad. Rochelle feels like the generic adult animated series mom. Just they carry over one or two traits they had in the original show. Chris felt a lot more generic than he did in the original show, and plus there's a lot of more moments where they try and make him seem quirky and a bit out there, and it's like that's not how he was in the original. It's like he was the straight man to all the insanity around him. I thought Greg, they ruined Greg. Like, they turned him into a huge pervert in this show for some reason. And like, I get it. He was obsessed with girls in the original. I get that. But like, the original Greg wouldn't say a line like, "You're going to go from the guy who carries mattresses to the guy who stains them." Like, that's a line Greg has in one of the episodes in this. That's like not something the original would say. And he has a lot of lines like that. Drew was just boring in this. Like, don't remember a single thing he did or said in this. Tanya was all right. She's admittedly about on the same level as she was in the original. I'll give her that. Like, and also we're talking about characters. There were a lot of weird background cameos of like characters who looked like Chris Rock but didn't get any lines. And there's this one weird character Chris Rock played who's like a homeless crackhead for some reason. Like, they just wanted to shove Chris Rock even more into the show, I guess. I don't know, it's just not funny. That's the biggest takeaway. It was not funny. The animation was bad. Like, this is just looking like every other adult animated show you'd see on Comedy Central. It just looks really cheap, and all the movements are way too stiff. It does not look good at all. It's not funny a lot of the times. The characters are worse. This is just not a good adaptation of this show, and I'm gonna give it a D. And this is just the first two episodes. I have not seen the rest, and I have no plans to. I just hope that maybe this can convince more people to go watch the original show. Like, go watch the original show. Even if you don't think it's great, I think you're at least going to have a good time with it. So those are my thoughts on the first two episodes of Everybody Still Hates Chris. If you've seen them, go ahead and tell me what you thought in the comments below. Thank you so much as always for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you can see more reviews like this in the future. And on that note, I will see you next time. Have a great day.